Lady Leah, for me, the first time I heard of you, I was still like starting out my first year in DJing, and you were already like one of the really busiest DJs, you know, in the country. So glad
You're making me sound old.
No, experienced.
Thank you.
Yeah, but like today, you and I are, I mean, together with us, we're chatting about artist management, right?
Yes.
If you could just put it in a nutshell, artist management as well as like a booking agent,
Yes.
what do those two people do for an artist?
Okay, so hi everybody. It looks like you're having a good day. It's good to be here with everyone and with Dance Music Summit. I'm very honored. Yeah, I've been a DJ for 25 years, I think going on 26 years. And I've been through it all. I've had managers, I've had booking agents, I've had phases where I didn't want even an agent because I wanted to do my own thing as a DJ. I have produced music, but I never went very big into production. I released, back in the day, many compilations on CD, about 24 compilations in my days. So I went through phases in my career where I needed direction with like my brand, although I knew who I was all along. So I didn't want people to tell me to be something else. And I also then sometimes would need help with like my bookings. And I found that there were two different things. And as I grew in the industry, a lot of DJs and producers came to me wanting some guidance, and female DJs as well. So I started to create these companies which firstly promoted them, mentored them, and also helped with bookings, making sure that, you know, with a booking you need to have a contract and your press pack, make sure you've got nice photos and that sort of thing. And then there were the album side of it, you know, making sure I get albums out and touring and that sort of thing. So I've now gone into being a booking agent. I've opened an agency called Flipside Management. And some of my artists I do manage as well. So the difference, I think the big difference is that a booking agent concentrates on your bookings. That's it. It's like she or he's your admin. They're going to be doing all of the communication with the agent or the club or whoever's representing the event. So they just 100% do bookings, and then a manager would take your brand as a whole, work on your brand, work on your releases, work on your tours and that sort of thing. You know, so a manager would then speak to the agent and say, all right, we're releasing this album on this month of this year. We need to contact these countries, these venues for that period, and we need to get those bookings. Then the booking agent would go to those places, contact everybody, say, this is what's happening, we're going to be doing this tour, and let me get the bookings in. So you can be both. I am both an agent and a manager to some of my artists. But I do find, okay, now with COVID, things are different. But on a normal case, I also need someone, you know, a team with me. So I need a social media team. I need someone in the office doing the emails and that sort of thing. So generally, there is a team behind the big guys. And that is what you want to work towards. You want your manager, you want your agent, you're going to have social media, and they all work together to make you big and make sure you have bookings.
And just with regards to new artists, right?
Yes.
Like, is it advisable to start looking for a manager as a new artist,
Yep.
manager or booking agent, or especially now with social media and things that we could do on
Yeah.
your own as an artist, what is the best way you would advise an artist to go about?
Yeah. Well, look, I get emails every day from young producers, young DJs wanting management. And you must understand, you know, management, if you get a manager, they need to manage something. If you have no bookings, no releases, no, brand. A manager can't do much for you. You know what I mean? You can always go and get help from people. For instance, I'm doing also a mentorship program where I take young people and guys who are missing certain elements within their brand or their career, and I help them get there. And that I won't sign one of my students if I don't think they're ready, as a manager, as a booking agent even. Because unless you have an album or something, the agent shouldn't be mailing venues to get you gigs. The venues should mail the agent and say, I want to book this person. Because most of the time, that's the totally wrong way of approaching it. You're going to get less money, you're going to get a bad set. You literally asking to play at this venue. That's not always the right way to go. Unless you're at the beginning, then you are going to go to the club owner or the promoter by yourself. And you're going to tell them who you are. And you're going to say, I would love to just play an opening or a closing set. I'll do it for free. Just listen to me, You can't go when you have no bookings and you have no brand and no releases, no nothing, to an agency or a manager and try and be managed. You can't. So as an individual and as an up-and-coming, you can get help from people where they can mentor you, they can guide you, but you need to get your own brand and your career to a certain level by yourself before you can expect to be signed. That's very important. It's hard for me to turn away people and say, sorry, I can't help you, because firstly, I've never heard you. And even once I have heard you, you must know that the clubs and the events, they already know who they want to book. When you open a club, I can tell you now, you're going to already know what lineup you want. But then you're going to have 10 guys come to you unknown or agents throwing names at you. It's not going to happen. They're not going to book you. You really need to try and build your brand and go to the places you want to play at. Show your face. Be part of the furniture. You have to get to know the owners and the club owners on a very gentle manner. Don't be like a mosquito in their ears all day. Be cool. Get to know people, have a drink, see them next time again, then maybe send them a link to your mix. Suddenly you're going to get a booking. Bring your friends. This is the way you're going to grow as a DJ, even a producer, before you get signed to an agency or a manager.
And I want to talk about expectations a bit, especially with regards to us DJs and artists, the expectation that as soon as I get a manager, things should already be happening.
Yeah.
Things need to start happening. I need to be getting booked. How do you deal with that? And is there a way to kind of help artists kind of build, or from your management side, are there things that you do to help artists build themselves as a brand, or you would rather only take them in already once they've got some kind of brand going?
So I would only sign an artist under my company, Flipside Management, once they have their career going well. They're getting bookings, they've got a brand, they've got a good following, etc. Sometimes you'll get someone who explodes out of nowhere with one single, and they've got bookings all of a sudden. That hardly ever happens, but you will get noticed if you're that person. A lot of the time, agents and managers, they'll approach you and say, I want to manage you, or you'll have some sort of connection where you're in the same industry, and then you can come to them. With regards to helping, yes. So I have my mentorship program where I take people on all different levels, from beginner even to advanced. And they'll be lacking in something, let's say it's their brand, or being able to mix, or being able to read the crowd properly. Everyone is different. With the 10 students I have, they are totally different. Every single one. So it's not a textbook thing. I need to get to know you personally, and then I help you with that particular thing. And everything else under the umbrella of the music, you know, everybody needs to know all the different elements, because these days being a DJ is not just being a DJ. Back in the day, 20 years ago, it was just that. You know, you come with your music and you play. Now you have to have your brand, your social media, everything must be rolling, and you must know how to do everything for yourself first. You know, it's the same as if you become a manager at a restaurant. You need to know how to sweep the floors. You need to know how to pack the fridges. You need to know how to do the invoices. You must know everything before you can hire people to do it for you. And it's the same with getting a manager and an agent. You can get mentorship, you can get yourself to a point, and then the agent and the manager will say, yes, you're ready. You've got bookings, I'm gonna help you get more. And the manager will take your brand and make it bigger. You know, take you overseas, internationally, plan albums. You know, beginning of the year, you're gonna say, by July, I want you to have an album ready, because we're going to tour these places. So, but you have to be ready for that, you know. Some DJs think that if they get booked at Ultra in Miami, it's going to be easy. It's not easy to stand up on that stage in front of people. Some people freak out. They're not ready, you know. So there's a lot of elements, you know, inside of you, and your brand and your music and everything needs to be ready. And I think that's also what a manager knows is when is the right time to put you out there.
Yeah, I think also with regards to management, within our scene, you know, the deep house community, or just like in house music in South Africa, where do you see, are we there yet with regards to artist management? Is there still a lot of some room for growth?
There's definitely room for growth. Everybody's also different. So you'll find some of the big guys have a manager just for themselves. They don't want that manager to be working with any other artists. And then you get people like myself who manage a couple of different DJs. There's definitely room for growth. I think this agency management thing is quite new for the general population of DJs. I'd say maybe 5-10 years at the max. You know, back in the day, it was only for the big guys. So, you know, as there are more DJs coming up in the industry, you're going to eventually need more agents, because in 10 years' time, those DJs are going to hopefully be at a point where they need management. So at the beginning, when you're ready, you can just go to an agent. I would suggest that, because you need to get your bookings going. As soon as you have a lot of bookings, then you need management. That is the general order of events. Sometimes it happens differently. Artists are weird and wonderful and crazy in different ways. So, like I said, some artists explode from nothing, and some takes even 20 years to get to a point. And that's, I think, the beauty of being an artist, is we're all different and unique, you know?
Yeah. And just my last question, I want to get into how do people get into your mentorship program?
So my mentorship program, I will, firstly, my company is called Flipside Management. So you would go to flipsidemanagement.co.za, and there's a mentorship link over there. I actually have a special at the moment, 60% discount before Christmas. It's for your first month. And you can choose if you want 1 month, if you want 4 months, 6 months, whatever. And depending on what you want, it has a different price. But it's quite reasonable. It's between 700 and 1,700 a month, depending on how long. And really, I get to know you, and we can even do it online. You don't have to come to me. I'm in the east of Joburg, Edenvale. But it incorporates everything. I help you with technique, mixing, looping, scratching, effects, song creating, playlists, reading the crowd, your brand, your social media, logos, photo shoots, whatever you need. we make it happen. You know, everyone is lacking something somewhere. You know, maybe you're not confident in front of the camera, but you need some cool pictures just to put on flyers. So I do help with all of that, styling, you know. So I try to make it very individual depending on the person. Maybe it's even production. Sometimes when we have a session, I'll bring someone else in. You know, I'm not the greatest scratcher, so I will call in one of the big guys that are very good with scratching, and they will assist with scratching, for instance. You know, maybe production as well. So flipsidemanagement.co.za. Click on mentorship, or you can just find me on any social media, send me a DM message, whatever. You know, I'm happy to help everybody. I'm even helping some young kids, some old people, you know. So I even have one lady, she doesn't even want to be a DJ. She just wants to enjoy mixing music. And we just have that hour to enjoy, you know. So everyone's different, and I really enjoy getting to know people. And I always tell my students there is an opportunity you can be signed to Flipside Management, you know. If I feel like you're ready. Some of my students have been on 5FM now and 94.7 and Metro and that sort of thing. So I encourage that because I've got the contacts. So once I get a nice mix from you, I'm going to send it to all the radio DJs and we're going to take it forward, you know.
Cool. Yeah, is there any questions with regards to management or anything really?
This
Jesse,
lady
there's
here?
one over here. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's say you're interested in going into the management and booking side of the industry.
Okay.
What are the steps that you recommend or advise?
There are courses you can do, but I would say becoming sort of like an intern or working your way up in a company that does this. There are quite a few around, and you know you can always sort of like mail them and approach them in a way that you'd like to learn. And then you might just start off just with doing small posts on their social media, or you might be just doing, you know, stuff around the office, but you work your way up. And if you're really passionate about it, you know, I can also help you with that sort of thing. Take you through the steps and just guide you. You know, it's also, in these days, you can start your own brand, your own company like this. So you can be, what's your name?
La Vita.
La Vita Management. There you go. So, or agents or bookings, you know, and then once you know the steps of contracts, how do you speak to the client, how do you manage the actual artist? Because it's hard managing artists. It's very hard. You're going to get drunk phone calls at 3 a.m. They can't get into their bed and breakfast, you know, sort it out kind of thing. And you in bed. So it's like crazy. And a lot of them are wild. So you need to manage them. And they also, you represent their brand. They represent your brand. You guys need to get to know each other to a point that you're like brother and sister or whatever it is, you know. And sometimes you have to have very serious talks with your artists. They're like naughty children. So you have to give them detention or whatever you need to do. So I have become a little bit of a mother in the industry since I've had my own kids. But you can definitely work your way up, get to know someone that does it already. Look at the ABC steps of a booking, then management, and you grow. You know, it takes time. But you can always start your own thing when you're ready. You know, it's the beauty about having computers, internet, apps, social media. You can literally come up with something overnight, and you never know. It could be a great success.
Cool. Jesse, there's one more guy in the middle there.
Hi, Leah.
Hi.
I'm gonna ask a question. I'm hoping you can answer it from, you know, in terms of how you address it, from both sides of the pendulum, basically.
Okay.
How do you deal with situations where, you know, as an artist, you might have aspirations for your name and your brand to go a certain way, and as a manager, you do see specific potential in a certain direction, and if they don't mix, how do you navigate that? And
well, I've seen this happen before with managers who are like, I mean, you get very hectic managers that want to do things their way, but they're very good. So a lot of artists will just listen. But my core is being a DJ and an artist. So I always believe the artist is the boss. You know what I mean? I'm working for the artist. Even though I'm going to guide you, I want you to be you. That's me as a manager and an artist. There will be times when we get certain projects. Let's say Sony wants a 5FM release. Then I'm going to take you and I'm going to say, stay you, but make it a bit more like this. But still you. You don't have to totally sell out. It's like, a Black Coffee will play a bit different in Ibiza than he will do a single for radio. But it's still him. You can hear it's him, So you must always have your thing in there. If you get a manager that says, no, you must go from you to being Black Coffee, you must be like, you fired. That must not happen. There can be some guidance for certain projects, to deviate, but you are the boss. You are the artist. No one can change that. Maybe the business side and the admin side you might need help with, but a little bit of guidance. But no one can be you. And if you are signed, they signed you for you. So you shouldn't change that for no one.
All right. Just as a second question, in terms of experience, South Africa versus the rest of the world, as a DJ, when you do get to, for example, an opportunity to do, as you mentioned, Miami.
Yes.
And you are there with bigger names.
Yes.
Quotation marks, depending on how you perceive yourself.
100%.
And, how do you approach it from your personal perspective? In your song choices, how you decide to put yourself across, going past, the stigmas of what people perceive from us as a market. Thank you.
For every gig, you need to know what the gig is and who you're playing to a degree. There'll always be other faces in front of you, and you still also want to be you still. So it's like, I remember many years in clubs, especially in South Africa, I would come into a club and I'll play after the resident, and I'll play a track, and the resident will say to me, but every time I play this track, I clear the floor, now you play this track, and people are going crazy. People do have, because you're from somewhere else and because you are someone else, they either know you and they do expect a certain sound from you, so they're hoping for that, or they're very open-minded about what you're about to bring to the table. I would say resident DJs that are stuck in clubs all the time have a difficult time showing new music, because when the resident's playing, people want to hear what they want to hear. They're not open-minded to receiving something new from someone new, especially if you're in a different country, And if you like it, you're bound to have at least 30% of the people there like it, at least. And if you get those 30% going, they'll encourage the other 40% to vibe, So obviously you want to be prepared for what you're going for, where you're going, what they like, but still choose the songs that you like, that they might like, You're not going to go to main stage, Ultra, and play Amapiano straight off the bat. You might take over from a DJ and go into house and then show them a little bit of Amapiano. You know what I mean? You have to know what you got, who's before and after you, who the people are, and then show some of yourself in between there, but never play a song you don't like. Just because you think that city's top track is Britney Spears, don't play it if you don't like it. Never play a song you don't like. Because it's like wearing clothes that you feel uncomfortable in. You know, it's like if I told you to wear a dress and go play on stage, how will you feel? You know, that's for me how it feels to play a song I don't like, even if the crowd loves it. It's just, it doesn't sit right with me. So, you know, there's always a bit of balance, but you have to definitely show them who you are.
For sure. I definitely get that. Do we have any other questions? Oh, I've got two at the back.
Hi, Leah.
Hola.
My question is, you said you only take artists under your management if they've already established themselves.
Yes.
In terms of, you see, they're getting bookings, but sometimes what we struggle with, what I struggle with,
Yeah.
we do approach these events, these clubs,
Yeah.
and like you said, the owners, the promoters would have people they already want on the line.
Yeah.
So, and we get rejected a lot.
Sure.
'Cause,
I mean, I was rejected a lot in my first, I would say, 7 years of DJing. Was
Yep.
rejected a lot.
So, because sometimes it gets to your head, you know.
Yes.
You feel like people don't like you. They don't want to give you a chance. So how can one deal with that? And what is the right approach
Yeah.
to these clubs, these promoters,
Yeah.
and so forth?
You know, I'm the type of person that I don't wait for people. I do it myself. You know, what's stopping you now going to the bar, asking the manager, yeah, can I throw a party in this place? And you throw a party with you headlining. What's stopping you? You know, maybe you'll get the venue for free and you can book your best 3 DJ buddy friends. Now, you've gone from asking for a set to putting yourself as a headliner at your own event. You know, these days with apps, you can design a flyer for free. And you don't even have to print it. You can just share it. You know, it's sometimes you have to take it in your own hands. Don't wait for someone to give you a chance. Just do it yourself. You can create a brand, and next thing, DJs are asking you for sets. Please, can I play at your party? Please, can I? And then other DJs are doing the same thing, right? So you're going to book me for your party. Next time, I'm booking you for my party. That's how it works. You know? Try and do it yourself, even in your backyard. Get your 10 neighbors to come, you know? Bring someone that's got a setup. And that's how you just make it happen. And once that's happening a little bit, you can go to, you know, you also have to approach places that are right for you, you know? You can't be let's say, a deep house DJ and go to Tiger and ask for a set. They're going to think, there's no place for this music. So go to the place that suits you and your music. You know, you should already know those guys because you should be part of that movement, you know? And if you're not, then keep going and just meet people. Like, the first time I meet the owner, I'm not going to say, hi, I'm DJ so-and-so, can I have a set? No. You say, hi, so-and-so, can I buy you a drink? Chilled. Next week, again. You say, oh, yeah, how's it? Cool, nice. You know I'm a DJ, hey? And then, oh, no, I didn't know you were a DJ. Yeah, you know, I do my own parties sometimes. Then the next week again, oh, by the way, here's a mix for you or something, you know. Take it gently and get to know the guys. And honestly, it's not that hard to throw a small little get-together. And because there's social media is so easy. If you get your family and you throw a party in your backyard, you know, something small, get someone to bring their decks, you can video record it like you DJing at an insane party. Put it on your profile. Next time the club owner's going to see that. And they're going to think, oh, damn, you're rocking it. Maybe you can come to my party. So try and take it in your own hands. Try and make that step by yourself. if you can. You know, talk to people who've got gear. This venue, there's so much you can do in this venue. You know, talk to Christos. Maybe you can do a small party here, you know? You can only get my mom always said to me, when you ask for something, you've already got a no. You can only get a yes. You know what I mean? You've got nothing to lose by asking to do these amazing, crazy projects, you know? You can only get a yes. That's how I've always been.
Yeah, and I think it's worth trying, you know, like rejections is a part of it, considering that there is a lot of DJs, you know. Everybody here is a DJ, like I showed by way of hands.
Yeah.
So
and the DJs are throwing their own parties, you know, and once you book them, they book you. And that's how we do it for ourselves as DJs. You know, you have to.
Cool. There was one more guy there. Ne?
Hi there.
Hola.
Just wanted to find out, so you spoke a lot about the positives of joining an agency and going for the mentorship. Is there some things that you could identify for us that we could flag when we're dealing with people like agents or anything like that, that maybe we shouldn't deal with these people or something that's not...
I would say any agent asking for a monthly fee, like a membership, that's not going to help you unless you being part of some sort of directory. But if you're a directory, it's like the yellow pages. You're just on a list. So monthly fees don't work. I do know some massive agents who do ask for like 15,000 a month. You know, that's different. But if you get asked for a small monthly fee and they don't know you, then I would avoid that. And also, like the gentleman here said, try not to get too sucked into people who want you to be something else. That's not what you're signing up for, you know. I think I answered the question.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask...
And maybe work with ones that you know people are working with already. You know, if your buddy is signed or other big DJs are with this agency, then they're probably a reputable agency. But they're also very fussy. Like, they're not just going to just sign.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Like, when an artist or a DJ has built some form of brand and they want to get somebody managing them or taking over their bookings, how to go about it, you know, to get a suitable person.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a few ways of doing it. Obviously, within your scene and your music and your sound, there'll be management and agents who sort of pioneer in that sound, you know. So you don't want, if you're a hip hop DJ, it won't really work that well if you're with a deep house agency, you know. Sometimes it works that way. You try and stay with professionals within your industry, right? Yeah, and then you approach them and see if you're ready. They will know if you're ready to be signed, you know. But in the meantime, you need to keep pushing your career in the back. And I always say, you know, as you go through your career and you're growing, it's like playing a TV game, right? You're playing a TV game and you beat the stage and then you go to the next level. What happens? It gets harder. That's what happens. Every time you build your brand and you get bigger, it gets harder, you know. So, and it's a team effort. You can't just be signed by a manager or an agent and sit back and wait. It's really, you're a team. You need to keep pushing. And you are going to get venues approaching you directly, you know, saying, can I book you? I don't want to go through your agent. But you need to know you're a team, you know. In the end of the day, your team is working for you. You don't want to bypass your own team. So there's definitely some commitment that goes into being in an agency and having a manager. You have to stay loyal to each other. And that's something I think that is difficult for new artists because they'll still get a lot of promoters coming directly to them. And then they're going to think, oh, why must I send these direct bookings to my manager to give them my commission? But in the end of the day, you're working as a team. And you'll always get those people approaching you directly, you know, but you have to be loyal to each other. You're working together for a reason. Then the other option is to just get yourself like an assistant, okay? So you're going to employ someone, right? And that your deal with them can be commission-based, you know, daily rates or monthly salary, right? You get someone to work for you. So that person will sit in the office. They will do all of your emails. They will do most of your social media, send a newsletter for you, collect data, all of that sort of thing. But they just work for you. And, you know, if you're paying a manager or an agent quite a lot of money, you can probably spend that on someone to just concentrate on you instead of a company full of artists. So there's different ways of doing it, you know. It depends where you're at and how you work with other people. Everyone's different. Like I said, artists are crazy. You know, everyone's got their own thoughts. Some artists are very meticulous and some won't even get on a flight because they're scared of flying, but they're the biggest DJ in the world. Like really, you get that. And artists have a lot of mental issues. So you really need to, they do, that you really need to know what will work for you, you know. Maybe you won't be comfortable in an agency, but you'll be comfortable working with one individual who will help grow everything for you. And do admin, you know, admin really sucks, especially when you're super busy, you know. Yeah.
Cool. I think we've got one more question before we break for lunch.
Hi, Lady Lydia.
Hi.
It's DJ Marvin M. I'm a radio DJ at SMU FM.
Cool.
Funny enough, I've been following you ever since. You know, you and Chris, you've even rocked Harankua previously.
Yeah, I have.
So I'm more or less, you know, following like somehow in your footsteps. You just told my brother there that, you know, we deal with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of burnout, a lot of emails and stuff like that, you know.
Crazy.
So my question is, how have you managed to sustain, you know, from your humble beginnings to where you are at this point in time?
Yeah.
What keeps you going, Nje?
Okay, well, for about the last 15 years of my career, I've had a PA, so an assistant, who works in my office. And she will take my bookings and do my calendar. And, you know, back in the day, she would even collect music for me if I didn't have enough time, because I would get so many promos emailed. I'd say, just download everything so I can listen to it in my car, you know. So I had a PA now during lockdowns, the first time I don't have someone working for me. And it's crazy, but, you know, we all have to go back to our grassroots. But, you know, there's also, I think being healthy is a big part of keeping your mental stability going. Because remember, DJing and music is late nights and lots of traveling. Late nights, lots of traveling and lots of toxins, you know, from the smoke to the alcohol to the weed to whatever it is you're going to do. It's toxic to your body. And the lack of sleep, you'll be surprised, is the worst thing for your body. Lack of sleep. And I never really thought of that when I was younger and how it would affect me. But now I love my sleep. So lack of sleep combined with too much alcohol, combined with trying to keep your brand in a certain way, combined with lots of gigs, combined with traveling, will mess with your head. You know what I mean? And even the opposite, wanting all of that, knowing you're good, can't get there, but I need it. And you hustling every day can also mess with your head. Like you said, it makes you feel like no one likes you, you know? But you need to like you first. You need to like yourself first. You need to be confident in your skill and what you have to offer. Because people will say to me, like, back in the day, aren't you like nervous when you get on the decks? Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited to show people what I'm going to show them. That's what I'm most excited for. You know what I mean? Is being confident in you and your brand and yourself. And then taking it easy. Don't get too hammered when you go to a venue. Don't drink too much, you know? I've done it too many times. Try get enough sleep. You know, these things mess with your mental stability. And people brush it off like it's nothing, but I promise you it's everything. So just pace yourself. Have a beer when you want a beer, but don't have 10 in half an hour. You know, if you're there for 10 hours, then have 10. But, you know, so try pace yourself, especially when you begin to get busy and you're on stage in front of people all the time. Rather have 1 or 2 beers before play and then have more, you know. Try and keep focus. And you've got goals, you know. Set goals. You want to have that album. You want to play in Ibiza. You must work towards it. You can't get, you can't steer away from your goals too much. You know, even though this is all about having a big party, have a party, but not too much, you know. So try and keep your focus on your goals and create those goals, you know, write them down.
Yeah, it's a nice industry, but it's work, you know, like Ralph said it earlier.
It is work. It's the same as any career. Like you can be a doctor. You'll still have to study for 10 years. Your first 10 years of DJing will be that, studying and gaining your experience and networking, and people must know who you are. You know, otherwise it's going to be difficult.
Cool. We've got one more, and then we break for lunch, guys.
Hello, everybody. How you doing, love?
Hi.
Right, just a quick one, I want to ask with regards to your management company.
Yes.
So do you only do DJs or you do up-and-coming musicians as well? Because I'm the floor manager here.
Yes.
I'm an artist at heart. So
nice.
I just wanted to find out if you do up-and-coming artists or anything like that.
Yes, so I have a few companies. You know, in the music industry, you can do many things. You can throw parties. I do I also do events. I have an events company outside of my management company where I book any artist. So we have a repertoire of artists, everything from jugglers to aerialists to bands to singers to magicians to, you know, we can even do tents and catering and all of that. So apart from my agency and my management, I have another company where I go to events and I do event management, and we book whatever the club owner or the promoter would like. So if you wanted to have mermaids swimming in the pool, you know, and ladies hanging from the scaffolding doing aerial stuff, I can book that for you as an event planner. So yes, I do many different things. Pity that it was all in the same industry in COVID and it all just went crash. But you know what? Let me just tell you, during COVID and all of this time, if you really have the passion and you really push through, it's really going to be in the end of the day about who holds their breath the longest and who keeps pushing. Because the guys that come out on the other side are going to make it. Okay? It's going to be hard. It's hard for everybody. But we must help each other, you know? If my DJ friends need petrol money or I need something, honestly, you must help each other. Little bit, and we'll all get each other through it. You know, it takes a village and a community to support each other and all make it through, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to Lady Leah.